Hello everyone, my name is Mtevi Anis from Group SWI 19. So here to present our project. So our project managed to call it EduVision. So it's a home-based AI home learning tool for mathematics and for people with disabilities. So as you see here, these are my group members, our target customers, parents with children with learning disabilities, caretakers who live with those children, and then some teachers. So we managed to deploy our system on Hugging Face using the Gradio. So I already made a video for the demonstration how it works. So okay, so problem space and purpose. So here we are talking about our real problem. So our core problem was caretakers like teachers and other persons involved are not well equipped effectively with tools to assist these learners in their hobbies. So the teachers and the caretakers cannot inclusively involve those students in teaching them mathematics. For example, those children with specific learning disabilities such as dyscalculia, autism. So that's our main core problem. So then this who does this affect? So it affects the primary teachers, learners, and parents, caregivers. So we are creating this for the mainly for those people. Then why AI? Like stakeholders lack the complete skill and tools required to assist these learners. AI tools would be more accessible. So here we are trying to we are trying to use AI to solve that problem. So what's its impact, its effect? So improved learning outcomes, reduced teacher workload, stronger foundation, math especially, the challenged learner with reduced cost. So here, this is our main impact. So this is our effect. So users, stakeholders, and ecosystem marketers. So here we are talking about those users who are going to use our system, the stakeholders who are involved, and then the core ecosystem, like who are those who help us to maybe create this tool. So the primary users, these are basically who directly interact with the system, who are the learners, those concerned at home, parent, caretaker, and some teachers, because there might be some teachers who want to do who are mainly for those children who for home-based learning. Then the secondary stakeholders, those like indirectly affected with this system. So that's the primary schools, Ministry of Education, and the curriculum developer, that is the NCD, National Curriculum and Development Center. So the ecosystem laws, like how the environment helped us. So data suppliers, those manage to get data from like teachers and other experts, caregivers, and NCDC. We manage to get data from NCDC, algorithm designers, platform maintainers, and regulatory bodies. So the regulatory bodies are mainly for the rules and regulations. Then governance entities include the school boards, data protection authorities, like to make sure that our system does not break any law for the data, like misusing the personal data, like to inflict people's rights. So, and then the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance. Okay. Data resources and value. So here we are talking about our data sources and the value in that data. So the data types are mainly, because we are dealing with large language model, so our data is mainly text-based questions, explanation, and objects. So because we are dealing with mainly the large language models, then the sources was NCD's curriculum, teaching manuals, PDFs on education and disabilities and pedagogical strategies. Like how do we carry this practically? So that's where we got our data. Then our pipeline, like this shows how we manage to collect and store our data. So first from collection, that is from the PDFs, the manuals, the textbooks, and then extraction. Like this involves using some tools to extract that data, then cleaning, We might to do the expert data analysis to know how what are the duplicates and remind to clean that data, and then the validation. And then we finally stored in a secure storage secure storage for use, like for to be used for the fine tuning of our model. Then the if can legal like concept-based correction, anonymization, national data protection compliance. Like these are like to make sure that our data does not that it is not that it does not break any law for ethical use. And then the value mechanization, like what is the value of our data? So quality data improves accuracy of the output, creativity in education and commercial value. So like, when you use quality data, so this data improves the output and the creativity in education and commercial value. Okay, so then the solution and AI system description. So the model type, we use a transformer-based language model, that is Falcon Phi 1B instruct, and we fine-tuned it using LoRa, that is low rank adaptation for model fine-tuning. So we used LoRa because we had we had the limited space, so we had to know that such large GPUs to train that model. So we tried to memorize that storage space. And then the inputs and outputs. Our inputs were mainly in like natural language prompts. That is, you prompt it, and then our output is a contextual mathematical responses. So you give it a prompt, like type it, and then it will give you an output that is mainly concerned with mathematics. Okay. So then the decision logic, like grouped query attention extracts, context feed for neural layers for fine tuning. So these are used for making decision. What is the next data to be, like how does it produce this data? And then the integration, we use web gradle interface plus API access for the video access. So we use such that someone can easily access our I2. So responsible AI, like expandable output and summarize. So the responsible AI, that was expandable outputs and summaries. Okay, this takes out our key metrics and evaluation. Technically, the response accuracy was 70%, and the others was less than like 60, like 10 seconds. So that means like what time does it take to give you an output, and then the response accuracy, like does the accuracy for that data that was being given, that does it match semantically match the data was given. So this helps us to give useful outputs. And then the user-centric metrics. So the user-centric metrics are measurements that focus on how real users experience and benefit from the product. So how does the users benefit from the product? That's adoption rate, like how do they adopt using the system. That was greater than 50%, 55%. User satisfaction, does it satisfy users' needs? So that was above 80%. Then ethically, like bias detection and mitigation score, which is 70%. So here the bias and detection and mitigation score, that like does the AI tool give responses according to specifically, like how doesn't based on the background of people. Then the mitigation score, that this tries to reduce negative effects and risks. So that was above 70%. Then the model transparency and rating. So transparency, like being open and clear about how a AI system works, like how decisions are made and what data is used. So this helps to users to trust the system and understand its behavior. So this helps the system, like the users, to understand how the system makes the decision. This was above 85%. Then commercial revenue, like this, how does the system generates revenue? That's revenue growth per annum, which is 20%. Then we'll go to the next slide, that is unfair advantage. And this tries to describe how how special our system is, how specific it is. Can it be how does it differ from others, so such that no one can easily create it. So our system's curriculum integrated corpus so exclusively digitized and annotated content from any Uganda's NCDC mathematics syllabus. So our data is mainly from the mathematics syllabus and aligns with the NCDC, which is Uganda aligned. Then inclusive learning data sets like locally relevant materials on learning disabilities, adaptive methods and assistive tools, rarely available in structured digital form. So here we use the local materials which are relevant for the learning disability. And then human in loop evaluation, like here we continuous feedback from teachers, parents and inclusive education experts refines model outputs from culture and pedagogy. So here this helps us to improve how the system is. So we continually get feedback from the teachers and then the parents, so to know how does the system perform. And then the adaptive knowledge updates, the model improves over time through curriculum revision. So here, because curriculum, or they try to make curriculum, they try to make revision in curriculum. So here we try to improve it through that. And then interaction data and new inclusive education research. So there exists many inclusive education. So there may be some new research made on the inclusive education. So we try to do that. And then local relevance, like unlike imported tools, this model is trained on Ugandan content, embedding local context and inclusive from the ground up. So here, unlike those tools that come from outside Uganda, but this model is already trained on Ugandan content, so it aligns with the within the Ugandan context. Then edge optimization, the compact distilled version runs offline and gives a key advantage for low connectivity regions. So here the system doesn't require a larger much cost to build, so it's always offline, runs on a mobile application which is offline, and then which is a key advantage to low connectivity. So it can be used in different regions, like someone there in a very rural area can also use this. And the ecosystem or integration partnership with NCDC, schools, NGOs. So here we partner with the NCDC, so such we can, and some NGOs such we can create our system. So then the channels of distribution, like acquisition channels, like awareness from social media channels such as Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, community radio. So here we try, like, how do people know about our product. And then delivery channels, like which is a mobile application that is offline version at a low subscription cost for both Android and Apple users, so it can be accessed from a mobile application. Then partnership, that's collaboration with NCDC, then the Ministry of Education to ensure national curriculum alignment, universities and teacher colleges and some NGOs and community-based organizations to extend accessibility to rural and special needs communities. So we need to do that such that many people can know about our system. Then the retention tactics, how can we sustain our system for a long time? So continuous updates based on user feedback and curriculum-based changes. Then revenue streams, how does the system generate revenue? That's direct revenue models, like subscription for schools. Like schools can try to make subscriptions such that they can use for their learners. The non-government organization also can do that. Teacher institutions can also pay licensing fees for large scale of government deployment. So for the government to deploy our system, so it has to pay those licensing fees. Then indirect revenue models, consulting and training services for educators and administrators, partnership with NGOs. Then the freemium and tiered access, so free basic features for community access. There are also premium analytics and personalized learning recommendations, such that here someone can pay for the premium analytics and personalized learning recommendations. Then the value-added streams here, like supposedly research projects and grants. Here we can get grants from different number of people. Then the key resources. So the key resources, that is the human resources, like team combining AI engineers, machine learning researchers, data scientists, user-facing designers, inclusive education specialists, ethicists, policy and curriculum experts for NDC alignment. So this helps us to make our system align with the NCDC. Then technical infrastructure, that is the GPUs, TPUs for training and fine-tuning models, and cloud space for model deployment. Then data infrastructure, that is created local data sets from NCDC, mathematics syllabi, and disability PDFs. Then organization resources, research partnership with Makerere University School of Education and NCDC plus the Ministry of Education. So this helps us to get some data to feed in our model. So then financial resources, that's grants from different sources and strategic partnership for scaling and sustainability. So this helps us to put our system on a large scale. Then key activities, that is model life cycle, collecting and labeling NCDC mathematics curriculum data, training, testing and retraining the language model with the inclusive education data sets, and deploying the model for web access. Then two product development activities, design user-friendly interfaces for teachers, parents, and caregivers. Operational activities, so this that keep our product in the good condition. That's continuous performance monitoring for different devices and regions, monitoring model drift, and maintaining data pipelines. Then governance and compliance, like does our model align with the laws and policies of Uganda. So let's align model outputs with the inclusive education and curriculum guidance, ensuring transparency and explainability. So then customer focused activities, like providing technical support for and training for caregivers, parents, teachers, and gathering feedback to iteratively improve the content. So here we try to make some services like to help those caretakers and teachers to know how to use our system. Then the key partners, here with the technology partners, Hugging Face spaces for deployment and Godel for interface design. Data partners, that is National Curriculum Development Center, NGOs, UNESCO, that's UNESCO, Uganda Society for Defense. So this helps us to get our data. Then IFCO oversight partners, that's the Ministry of ICT and Guidance, and the PDPO, that is Personal Data Protection Organization. This helps us to use our data for very collective. Then the distribution partners, this helps us to distribute our product, that's Uganda Commission, that's for advertisement. Strategic collaborators, here have Uganda Society for Disabled Children, Department of Social Needs Education, and Makerere University. Then cost of structure, this helps us to know how the model costs. So data costs, further data collection, particularly from NCDC approved textbooks. Data storage costs, licensing and permission from disability related NGOs and SDC. Then also computer and infrastructure costs. These are spent on the model training using GPUs and TPUs. Then human resource costs, this mainly for those like engineers, data science, social media personnel, inclusive educational experts. And then experience and legal costs. So this helps us to, like the PDO registration, annual fees, IP registration, that's intellectual property, and open frameworks like FairLearn. This helps us to measure our biasness. Then marketing and distribution, this helps us to distribute our product. Then maintenance and scaling costs. So this helps us to maintain our system, that's transition into scalable cloud platform like CraneCloud and many others. So governance, ethics and compliance. So here I have fairness and bias auditing, that utilizing tools like from FairLearn, and this to check for equal opportunity metrics for disability profiles. So this helps us to reduce bias. Transparency mechanism, like publish model cards and data statements to summarize data. So this helps us to show how the decisions are made in our system. Explainability tools, capture mutation weight heat maps, hidden state gradients, and they also have legal and ethical frameworks like to adhere with the PDO Uganda and implement the UNESCO recommendation on ethics of artificial intelligence. There are accountability, educators, experts, and parents of children with learners with disabilities to provide validation and feedback. So scalability. So this helps us to scale our product and to sustain for a long amount. So scalability framework Transport with the pedal for deployment, distilling into a smaller offline student model to support mobile use, transition to the more scalable platforms like AWS and Azure, continuous learning, model updated on continuous feedback provided by stakeholders and updates made to the NCD's curriculum, localization, tailoring the examples and activities from more to fit more in the cultural context. So it also does financial sustainability, that is partnership with NGOs, affordable usage, fee for customers, reinvestment into model maintenance, and so this helps us to get some the financial benefits to sustain our product. Also environmental responsibility, like does our system, how does it affect the environment? That is knowledge dissemination into compacting model to reduce on the computation of resources. So this helps to reduce on the power used to train those resources, then retraining only when necessary to reduce the carbon footprint. So this helps us to reduce the use of power in the environment. So also resilience, so backing up the system on the cloud to reduce interference in case of power outbreaks or hardware failure. So intellectual property, like, so this syllabus, like, this shows our ownership of the process, so to avoid those people from copying it. So yeah, fine-tuned, so to include fine-tuned language model for inclusive mathematics-based education, knowledge graphs linking concepts. So this is the diagram that shows our intellectual property. So here it says inclusive education, large language models, and home-based learning. So this is our team contributions, as you see. Thank you.